already begun reopening its country, including the city that was the source of the virus, Wuhan. For more on that, let's go to David Culver in Shanghai. So last night you showed us the app that the Chinese government uses to track people in the country. It's incredibly detailed and personal and invasive. Can you explain how you signed up for the app? I mean, how is it used?
Yeah, let me walk you through that, Anderson, because I've been getting a lot of questions. This is the QR code, a barcode equivalent that I have. It's really specific to me, and everyone who's registered for one has something just like that. And so you use it to get into places like hotels, restaurants, shopping malls. It's your golden key, essentially. Let me show you going back to when we arrived here in Shanghai, and I don't think I fully realized it at the time, but that's what I was signing up for, along with every single person who got off the train. You're going through a line where, of course, they monitor your temperature. You're met by folks in hazmat suits. They ask you for, if you're Chinese, your national ID card. If you're a foreigner like me, I handed over my U.S. passport. It's then linked to not only your passport number, but also your cell phone number, so that then they can continue to track you. And I can show you how it's used if you are headed into, for example, a space like a hotel. As soon as you walk in, they've now set up tables that naturally have the temperature screening. They have the hand sanitizer, and then they ask to see your app. You open it up in real time because people have been screenshotting them, so they figured out a workaround to avoid that. So you have to actually push the button and show it timestamped, and then they check it, verify it, and they'll let you in. Incredibly invasive. I don't know if it can happen in other parts of the world, though it is their way of tracing and tracking.
So, I mean, have they done a test on you, and therefore, like, you know, did they do a nasal swab test on you, and you passed that, and therefore, every time they check your temperature, they assume you haven't gotten infected? I mean, how do they know you're not infected?
Yeah, that's a good question. Incredibly, I have not been tested, even though I was actually in Wuhan just ahead of the lockdown and did 14 days of quarantine and have subsequently been here in Shanghai. I've not been tested. That's not part of this. The idea here is that they can determine whether or not you've been around somebody who's a confirmed case, and that's using some of the geolocation tracking on the cell phone, and they can specify if you're on a train, for example, and you're on one end of a carriage or you're in a separate car from a confirmed case. Depending on how far you are or how close you are to that confirmed case, they can then change your barcode, your QR, to a yellow or a red, and you can then go into self-isolation or government quarantine.
That's incredible. That they can, I mean, that's a level of surveillance which obviously does not exist.